like wiener dog races. Fuck,
and grandparents' races where they eat it.
Right.
They face plant. It's fantastic.
And
then like
people
T-Rex.
falling. They got to do fat people races. Fat people falling is way funnier than old people.
Well, old people falling is part of like a planned thing is different than like an apropos of nothing in the supermarket. That's not funny at all.
How much can you plan a broken femur? Is what I want. Oh, Granny bit it.
You're going to have a hard time getting back there next week. She's on the IR.
She's on the IR.
My fiance loves gambling, so it's only a matter of time until...
She's at the horse races with the crooked hat and cigar saying, yeah, see?
Yeah, exactly. The green tax visor, the translucent.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now we're back to bingo here.
Fair point.
We ready to rock and roll?
We already started.
Oh, we're recording already? Welcome to the Second Lunch Podcast. Sorry, I'm looking right over your head. The camera's right there.
I was like smiling at you.
But yeah, we do have a very special guest today. We have Alyssa Charlston of Idaho Vandals fame. Mm-hmm. You also played basketball professionally in Luxembourg.
Yeah. Wow, well done.
The Grand Duchy.
Yes. Yes, very well done.
You are you still working for the Pac-12 Network?
Yes.
That's cool.
I mean, shoot, I don't know where that job's going, but
yeah, right.
down the tube.
Yeah, where is all of that going?
Well, so I also work at Fox 13, thank God, because otherwise I don't know how I'd be supporting myself. No, Pac-12 Networks is, right now, everybody kind of knows that it's doom and gloom. I think everyone's probably trying to figure out their job, their next move. So it's going to be the weirdest year ever, because you've got like a bunch of people who still have to do their job this year, knowing that it may not it probably won't exist next year, unless this whole thing with Washington State and Oregon State inviting the Mountain West Conference coming in happens. But then I still don't know if the Pac-12 Networks survives.
Yeah, I wonder if it's
Thanks,
gonna be
Larry.
Like a contract year for you, where you're just like, I'm gonna put on the best performance. Yeah, you're gonna get a big deal next year. Interesting.
Yeah.
You want to jump into that? We do this segment at the beginning called Tinderella questions. The idea was, when we first started this, was to ask each other questions like you'd ask on a first date.
Oh, wow.
For the listeners to get to know us. It's gotten out of hand.
Yeah, it's certainly.
I don't think I would
removed
ask
from
any
that.
of these on a first date now, except for our question about Kolpy. I did ask that on a date one time.
Okay.
But, let's just jump into them. You want to do them, or I'll do them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually,
No, I've got it up. All right. I will start with you, Alyssa. So this is a great first one. What is the dumbest sport?
The dumbest sport. Oh,
Was it the balloon
I
thing?
sent you a
me?
video today.
Yeah.
You're asking for content. There's like, hey, what do you want to talk about? I was like, for sure, this World Cup of keep the balloon in the air.
Yeah, basically it's keepy ups with a balloon, but
Yeah.
there's all
Right.
sorts of obstacles. I
And,
mean,
like,
these guys are wearing helmets.
Helmets, yeah. That's how you know it's serious.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't require. I mean, it requires a fair amount of athleticism, because they're like dodging cars and like really
Right.
nice pieces of equipment. So there's clearly some sponsorships involved.
Ichiro would have been great at it. That's all I was thinking. I was like,
Oh.
what other athletes would be Earl Boykin? I'm thinking small.
Yeah.
Both of the guys were pretty
Yeah.
small and
Small and
real
fast.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going D. Gordon.
D. Gordon, oh yeah. Deuce
D.
Young.
Strange Gordon.
Thank you. Fair correction.
True. Have you guys seen the backup running back for the Cowboys? Deuce. I think it's Deuce Young. He's like 5'7", 5'6".
Wow.
Just
That's my favorite player already.
Chris has
look
found
him up.
somebody to pick up on all of his fantasy teams right there. Keepy ups is a pretty dumb sport. I didn't know that existed when I saw this question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spike balls up there.
Yeah. Yeah. That one I find challenging to watch, personally. This
Yeah.
balloon thing, dumb, absolutely. Incredibly fun to watch, 100%.
See, okay, that's different.
Kind of
yeah,
like
because,
car jujitsu. When we did, are you familiar with that?
Car jujitsu.
Yeah, in fairness, no one really should be, but but they get two actual jiu-jitsu practitioners, and they're buckled into the front seat of the vehicle. At least that's how I've seen most of them set up. I did see one where there was a guy in the back seat and anyways, though, I'm getting off base. So to start the match, the first thing, it's like ready, set, go. The first thing they both try to do is prevent the other person from unbuckling their seatbelt, because that's the ultimate way to keep the upper hand is to. So ref says go, they both try to keep the other person belted in, and then it is a jiu-jitsu match in a car. So, first submission wins.
I'm so far from being able to participate in that sport. I struggle with my own seatbelts so often.
Without doing jujitsu.
Yeah. I also think there's something to be said about my flexibility on a mat versus in a Datsun or something. Where it's like, I can't operate in here. So yeah, car jiu-jitsu, that's a very dumb one. Have either of you seen the clips over the years of the Irish cheese rolling competition? Which I guess you wouldn't call that a sport. That's more of an event.
What did I say it has to be a sport other than me sweating? Because in that case, this is a sport. I don't know. There's running involved in that, right?
Yeah, but it's a lot more falling because it's like a 50-degree incline or something, and a big lumpy hill, and everybody's trying to catch a rolling wheel of cheese.
I feel like the cheese part of this is just what's throwing you off. It can't be a sport if it involves cheese.
Like something that most people love to eat.
That's fair. What about the sausage races, though? I feel like that's somewhere.
Well, there's not actual sausage involved. Let's make this clear. It's just men dressed up as sausages.
Very true.
Like you do.
That's
your daily work.
Yeah, my normal Wednesdays.
Hot dog eating contest, is that a sport?
Oh, God.
I know that's a whole different tangent.
I know Joey Chestnut for some reason.
What? You've met him?
No. I know who he is.
Oh, right. Oh,
okay.
so
like I know that he exists.
Yeah. Oh, he's out there.
But see how psyched you just got? No, that has to be a sport. Like that's I feel like it has to be.
It also helps when you have a league. Like there is the world, or what I can't
eating
remember.
Competition.
Yes.
World eating something.
Yeah. So it's got the official
you're still
recognition.
pushing the human body to its limits, and I think that is what's really important.
Yeah, I think Hemingway wrote that bullfighting, racing, and boxing were different than other sports because the specter of death hung above them.
Wow, I like that.
Hot dog eating competitions right there. It's right. It's number 4.
Spectre of death. One more.
On that note, Alyssa, what sport do you enjoy covering the most?
So this is something you would ask on a date too.
Yeah, right.
It's your typical girl. Not someone
Fair.
who literally covers sports.
Yeah.
My favorite sport to cover? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a tie between basketball and football. I love covering college basketball. I think it's so much fun. And just because I can relate to it. So I know, I feel like I'm in my comfort zone. NFL, college football, it would be close second, I think. Just because it's probably because so many people care about it.
Right.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah. A lot of passion.
A lot of passion. And I don't know, I feel like you get really good answers from college football players in interviews.
Right.
Surprisingly.
They're not just there so they won't get fined.
100%. Yeah. They're actually there because, the NCAA requires them to.
Yeah. Maybe not as much PR polish in some cases, some more honest answers.
I feel like players are getting more that way because of NIL. Because I think they want their personalities out there and their brands. Like they're kind of trying to build their brand. Whatever that could be at 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
They're more personality driven. So I think that's a lot of fun. But yeah, I would say NCAA college basketball. And a lot of that's because I covered Gonzaga when I was working in Spokane.
Oh, very
cool. I got to go to the Jalen Suggs bank shot.
Right.
Buzzer beater win over UCLA. I was there for that in Indianapolis when I was working for Gonzaga. And that. Just like that environment, I just love it.
Yeah,
fun.
That's got to be a unique, once in a lifetime experience in terms of people losing it.
Absolute chaos. And I also realized how little emotion I had because I feel like I've been trained now. I used to be so jacked when we won and we celebrated and I was an athlete. And you have to overdo it. You fake it till you make it, so everyone's excited.
Yeah.
And now that I've been a journalist for 8-9 years. When I was shooting that, literally, it was during the pandemic. It was kind of the end of the pandemic, 2021. And I was filming because I was working for Gonzaga at the time, and I was like filming the last 30 seconds, and everyone's going crazy, like wild, kissing their significant other and like maybe kissing a stranger, and I'm just like no smile, just okay, gotta capture the video. Like and I look back on that, I'm like, do I have a soul?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, this is one of our questions. I'll just ask it. Do you ever have fan moments? Like, has there ever been a moment where you were like lost it in the press box or something? Like, has there ever been one of those?
I would say it happens when I see complete greatness. I'm not a Seahawks fan. I'm not a Huskies fan. I'm not a Cougars fan. I do get attached to great coaches. I respect the hell out of Pete Carroll and Jake Dickert and Mike Leach. Like, there were fan moments when I was covering Mike Leach just because he's so damn funny. Like, he is so off the charts, so wild. Like, the places his brain went, and rest in peace. He was so entertaining, but at the end of it, it's like, okay, how do I summarize this 45-minute press conference that he was 45 minutes late to? We all show up. He's always late.
Got a lot of people to say hi to on the way.
I guess so, on his walk into, So those moments where it's like complete greatness on a field where I'm like, oh my gosh, that was absolutely insane. Or just like coaches that just bring something out of you. But honestly, it's hard for me to fangirl, and I feel like it helps that I played, so I'm not in shock or in awe, but if anything, I'm more monotone when I'm delivering, and I had to like jazz it up. And a lot of women, they come into the industry and people are like, okay, tone it down, like you're doing too much here. And that's where I think people get maybe annoyed when they see women covering sports. It's like it's too much, or it's, you just have kind of like a stereotype against it. But for me, it was kind of like, I'm not going to be that crazy easily impressed because I've seen and I've been around and I know the work that goes into it. So it's like, yeah, okay, just, you just take it in for what it is.
Maintain objectivity as much as...
There you go. Yeah, I'm a big J journalist, so got to be objective. It's very important.
I would have such trouble with that. For the longest time, I wanted to be in sports journalism.
Yeah, I feel like I remember this.
There's no way. There's just no... Like, if I ever encounter Giannis Antetokounmpo in person, I'm going to come unglued. I will probably cry. I literally bumped into his wife at the game in Portland tonight. I just didn't know what to say. I was like, oh my God, it's you. It was very strange. But has there ever been an athlete that when you saw them in person, you were like, oh, they're really small, or like, oh my God, they're big? Like for me, mine was, I got sideline passes to a Seahawks game, and Julius Peppers walked by me, and I was like, I did not know he was that big. Look at the size of this guy. He's so big. Have you had any...
shocked by that? I think Russell Wilson is shorter than I thought he would be. And I get that because I'm like, I'm a 6'1", 6-footer-ish.
Yeah.
Ken Walker is really small too.
Really?
Yeah, for the Seahawks, he's like 5'7", like at the most. So doing interviews with him, that's when I notice it the most, is when I'm watching interviews played back. It's like, oh my God, I'm huge. What did you do, Mom?
They brought out a stool for them to stand on to
the
talk
PR
to you.
guy's like, okay, hold on, pause for a second. In terms of being huge, I mean, DK Metcalf is a very large human. Just like in terms of width, you don't expect him to be, because he just streaks down the field. Oh man, I'm sure someone's gonna come to my mind like after this podcast.
Just
be so
if it comes up at any point, blurt it out.
Blurt it out.
Oh,
yeah.
great.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. So later tonight, when I'm like getting ready for bed, I'm like, can't even think of an example. Dang it.
Call me Chris. Hit record. I got
Walter
one.
Jones.
Yeah. He is very large too. That's a great question though.
Have you had any weird interactions with fans? Another great first date question that a lot of applies to loads of people.
With your personal fans.
If we're on a first date and they have fans, I think there's already kind of a weird...
You're already setting yourself up for something. I honestly, not super bad, but there is somebody that's like, it's been on social media, and he used to email me when I was in Spokane, and it was always like a kind of like a pseudo name. And he was former military, and he was respectful at first, but then he found my mom on Facebook.
Oh, geez.
And then he started asking her if he could date me. I'd let it be known, I've never met this man in my life in person. It's never seen him face to face. And my mom was like very confused, because all honestly, my mom doesn't spend much time on Facebook, thank God, again. But she like saw it like 5 or 6 months after he sent it. And then now that I'm in Seattle, yeah, I'm 99% sure. No, I'm 100% sure. He started commenting. I have a boyfriend now. And he started commenting on some of our pictures saying, "What a clown. I can't believe you're dating this guy."
What a clown. Oh my God.
And he will message my boyfriend, like, because he's not a private account. So he'll like respond and be like, "You're such a loser," da da da, like really low key, like very terrible jokes. I mean, you know, like insults that don't hurt anyone's feelings.
Right.
But he just won't go the extra mile and like put a swear word in there. So that's probably the weirdest interaction. Yeah. That goes up there.
Understandably would take the cake. Yeah,
See,
that's very strange.
I was thinking, like, the Aaron Andrews thing, we don't really need to rehash that. Anybody who's listening can go look that up. I don't feel like spending
Or
time on
don't,
it.
but
Or
yeah.
don't.
Or don't, yeah. But yeah, I was thinking, I wonder if being, like, local makes that better or worse. Like, oh my God, she can say Puyallup. Are you kidding me? That's pretty relatable.
I'll do it.
But yeah, that's interesting. That sucks. Are you concerned at all? I'm concerned for you.
worried?
That's freaky.
Have you taken any steps to protect yourself? No, I'm not that concerned because I, again, asked my mom. Like, I've got a little bit of overconfidence because of my size that if somebody tries to approach me on the streets, come on.
Yeah, how big do we think this guy is? Because no matter what, he's gonna
Right.
show
no
up
way
and be like, "You're shorter than I thought you'd be."
Yeah. Like I do to Ken Walker. Oh, you're like Russell Wilson's height. I got this.
Where's this guy's stool? I'm gonna get up there and I'm gonna talk to you, miss.
Yeah. No, I'm not concerned. I'm honestly, I think it's fine. But you're 100% correct. Like, instead of being national, like being in Andrew's position, and there's so many other, you know, women in those positions where they get a lot more attention and a lot more anonymous attention because, like, locally, you can kind of find out who's they're at least in your region. You can narrow it down to that. So it's like you can't be quite as anonymous if you're making weird comments.
That's a good point.
But he might listen to the podcast now.
True. He got one more viewer. My mom, my dad, this new guy.
There we go.
We'll see if we see a weird geolocation pop up in the stats, trying to figure out where he's at. Chris, I'll start with you on this one, and this is the first date question. Favorite version of Kolpy, 8 or 24?
Yes.
Oh.
asked us on a date. Whenever I've been on a date with a woman who says they like sports, this is how I vet them. This is how I find out if they're telling the truth or not.
Yeah, if you know your stuff.
And
or they give you an answer and they really justify it, but then you don't like that response.
Yeah.
Like, what do you
mean 24?
You know your stuff, but I disagree.
I loved 8. Kolpy, when he wore the number 8, was like raw. He was like more of a slasher. He dunked. He was just nasty. Like he was a killer in a more aggressive way. 24 Kolpy was so polished, such a good shooter. He killed you, but it was just in a different way. It was more like suffocating rather than just like being punched to death. I don't know. It was so yeah, for me it's definitely Kolpy is number 8. That was my Kolpy.
Have you ever gone on a second date because of someone's answer?
Didn't get a lot of second dates. I'm going to be honest. He kept asking me about Kolpy. I don't know.
It's like 45 minutes. It's insane.
What about you, Cole?
I'm going 24, but that's because I was a little Sonics fan that just saw a little too much Shaq and Kobe success in the Western Conference at the tail end of that particular Sonics squad with, I mean, obviously Peyton and Kemp, but I got my Hershey Hawkins in there. I've got, Sam Perkins. And those guys were getting older, and then it's like, oh, the Lakers are here. They're going to win 3 in a row. And then they go to another one that they lose against the Pistons. It was just an era of dominance that I was too young and childish to accept. So I go 24 because I was mature enough to appreciate it, frankly. But 8 was probably, has the better highlight reel. Because, I remember that 24 was so many just fadeaway jumpers that you couldn't defend.
Right.
That he's out of reach. It's like the skyhook of the 2000s. Like, well, you can't.
And he was so smart, dude. He was just a problem.
Yeah.
Just a problem. All right, you're unbiased. What do you think?
I'm an efficiency person, and nobody checked the numbers on me here, but because he was such a killer, and a dunk is a pretty high percentage shot. Am I correct here?
Yeah.
So the fadeaway jumpers, lethal, but less exciting to watch. I think the
Fair.
young Kolpy, where he was, coming out of high school, and you just don't see that as often anymore. He was it took him like no time to kind of like get ready for that next level. And I know stories where he's asking at that age, asking others how he can get better. And I love that because he's like, that's the humble Kolpy. And he became humble again, but 24 Kolpy was him telling everybody else how to work. Which I still respect. Because like he outworked everybody. But from an efficiency standpoint, I love that he just went to the bucket, yammed all the time.
Who is what position did you play?
I played like a small forward. And then
Okay.
overseas, it was small forward center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who would you liken yourself to as a player?
I'm like a Giannis.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. Please, I hope people saw the sarcasm on my face there. They're like, go check the tape.
My next question is, do you want to get out of here?
Hilarious. No, I don't.
Rashard Lewis?
Oh, Rashard Lewis would be a good comp. Yeah, because I love to shoot the three. And being inside, outside. Yeah, Rashard, and I also had the most giant crush on Rashard when I was younger too.
Yeah,
so
fair.
you can probably relate to that.
I only have 3 Rashard Lewis jerseys.
Only. How many jerseys do you have total? Do you
Oh,
think?
dude, I have totally lost track. I have no clue.
Do you wear a jersey? How many days a week do you not wear a jersey?
Oh God. Well, oh man, I've never talked about this, but it's like an inside joke with anybody who's ever been to my house. You know how some people have like a house coat or like slippers they always wear? Mine is a Michael Red Bucks jersey. So like if I'm just going out to get the mail,
Yeah.
throw on the red jersey. And I think my neighbors were like, does this guy have any clothes other than that?
Big Michael Red fan.
Yeah, I loved Michael Red.
That's so good.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is
Dozens is the answer, though, to the...
hundreds.
Jesus.
Yeah, because I've never gotten rid of any of the ones I had like when I was a kid. So I've got
Okay.
tiny jerseys that'll never fit me again. But
Kendall.
I'm like, it's Mark Chmura. I'm not getting rid of this. Yeah, right. I've already given... Kendall already has 2 Giannis jerseys. So she's...
Set.
Yeah, she's going to have more than she knows what to do with very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even say Antetokounmpo yet. We're working on it, though.
That's a tough one. Try saying that on TV for the first time.
That is a lot of pressure. Have you had to say it on TV
Many
yet?
times. Mostly because in Spokane we covered the Zags that were in the NBA. So whenever they played the Bucks, I was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
You got to slow it down.
Hey, at least you actually said it, because there's a lot of people who just cop out and say the Greek freak, and it's like,
True.
come on.
It's like
I get it, but
it's a
come on.
stereotype. Yeah. Does he like being called the Greek freak? I know. He does. He does for sure.
He just likes everything. He's a good guy. Oh,
Yeah.
I love him. I
Do you know
love him
Vin
so
Baker is now like one of his personal coaches?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Thanasis, is that his brother?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other brother, I think they're all
Alex
Bucks now. Alex.
Kostas.
How do you go from like Giannis to Thanasis and then to Alex? I'm sure it's like Alexandre
Right.
something Greek, but
Yeah, Vin Baker, I loved him obviously on the Sonics, but then I'm kind of surprised he's still in Milwaukee, because like most of the rest of the people in Wisconsin, he developed an alcohol issue,
yeah.
and so I thought he was gone for sure, but he's got it sorted out. And
Yeah, very happy for him.
Extremely good coach
Yeah.
for us now.
He's
Big part
opening
of-
up a rehab center in
Hell
Milwaukee.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Hell
Isn't that
yeah,
great? Right?
That's
Like
awesome.
the perfect victory story.
Oh, I love it. Him getting to see, I mean, obviously, my big thing was I've never wanted to see an athlete win a championship more than Giannis, ever.
Yeah.
So I still cry. I don't want to do it now. Every time I think about it, I cry.
Think about it.
Another running bit on this podcast is we've had a couple people on now who, like, if you come to my house and I play Bucks highlights for you, I'm trying to woo you. Like, that's my love language. So, yeah. Seeing Vin Baker get a ring, though, too, that was also... I wish, maybe the broadcast had more time to focus on that, but it was cool seeing him get a ring.
Can I tell a quick Michael Jordan story that Vin told me? Because I did this like Iconic Sonics podcast thing.
Absolutely.
Dumb question.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can summarize it quickly because I'm in news and I have to make
No,
everything
you don't
like
have to do
30
it quick.
seconds.
Just go for it.
Well, he was on this podcast with me, and I was kind of asking him Michael Jordan stories or Gary Payton stories, and Gary and Michael were fierce competitors, and that time they're friends now, obviously buds. But Michael Jordan was in town, and Vin was also friends with Scottie Pippen, so they were out at dinner. Scotty and Vin were out at dinner in Seattle, and they came back to the Chicago Bulls hotel where there was like, Vin said it was like a hangout area where there was just like normal food, and you know, it was the day before the game, so basically he wanted to tell me there was no alcohol involved, but there was clearly alcohol involved. Like, there's a lot of people around, and it was all players. And Michael comes up to Vin, is like, yo, where's your boy GP? And Vin was like, I don't know, he's not here, he's at home. And he's like, yeah, he knows not to be out in the town when I'm around. He literally said that to Vin to tell Gary, like, yeah, GP knows not to be out in his own city in Seattle when I'm here. That's Michael Jordan's
stay
ego.
home.
Stay home.
That's fantastic.
That is fantastic.
That's good. I was like, that's good insight. Anyways.
What's been your favorite interview?
Oh,
who's fun to interview, I guess it might be a better question.
Who's fun to interview? Oh, man. Honestly, Drew Timme from Gonzaga.
Really? Okay.
He is hilarious. Like, we did, I don't know where he is now. I don't even, is he, I think he might have signed like an NBA, like 2-way contract.
Oh, I know
didn't get
Bucks just
drafted, I
signed
don't
somebody from
think.
Gonzaga, but I'm not positive. Anyway.
Yeah, he is just hilarious. Like, he's so sarcastic, so dry. He listens to like Queen pregame. I'm like, are you kidding or are you serious? He's like, yeah, no, I'm serious.
I mean, it's kind of ironic, but
Yeah, it is.
That's
Queen.
funny.
And shoot, who else? I should be able to be better at answering this question, but again, I'll think about it. I'm also trying to think of like the biggest human I've seen.
Right.
Too. At the same time, so there's like a lot of conflicting.
Oh my
thoughts
God.
on
I
that.
remember one time my dad, I don't know, I think it was in 6th grade, for Christmas got us tickets in like the second row on the baseline to a Sonics game. And I don't know if you remember at Key Arena, they had like kind of not like a walk of fame. It was like almost like a kids museum type deal. But anyway,
Yes,
one
I
of the
remember.
things they had in there was Jerome James's shoe. And I was like, baloney, it's that big. There's no chance. Size 22, okay, that is a
not
clown
real.
shoe. That is not, if anything, these are flippers. These are not shoes. And so I was determined to see these things as close up as possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure as shit. It's the craziest thing it's still the craziest thing I've ever seen. That was definitely real. They're like this big.
That's
Broader
surreal.
than my shoulders, that's for sure. Just,
My friend growing up, I don't know if you remember Hannah Ostick. Her
Yeah.
parents had a Shaquille O'Neal shoe, and it sat on top of their TV. Their TV was like, I don't know, like a 64-inch. I swear it took up half that TV. I was like, you hold it, and it's seriously this big.
it actually
No,
contains our life savings.
Don't get too close.
Yeah, that is.
It's
I always
surreal.
wondered. I'm not like a foot person. I don't want to sound weird, but I
Oh,
gotta
that's something
see.
a foot person would say.
I
though.
got. That's true.
Who has
Okay.
to make that disclaimer?
Well, because I gotta see Shaq's toes. How long are those things? That I got questions about the toes in particular on how big.
Yeah.
I think if you write into,
Is it mostly just the actual foot part, or that's what I got to know? I got to know the proportion with the toes.
I
bet
think
you
that if you can get this going on like NBA on TNT, like you could probably, if you're adamant, or I should say if you're dedicated to getting that out there, I bet Shaq could take his
Tweet
take
at
his
him.
shoe off
Hey,
on
I'm not
camera.
A foot guy.
I'm not a foot
I
guy,
promise I'm not a
but
but
We need to see those toes.
I'm not going to do anything weird with this. This is purely
Research.
research based. That's hilarious.
His big
I
toe
love
has
that
to be
show.
like the size of a soda can. That's just what I keep thinking.
Easily.
Like when you see Andre the Giant hold a beer or something. It's
Yeah.
one of those types
You
of.
can't even call it a small toe if it's that big. You know what I mean? That pinky toe's got to be big.
All right. We have asked this question once before, but given your sports background, this
Let me
is a
ask
perfect
this one.
time. Okay.
Okay.
Because we had another collegiate basketball player on here,
Male or female?
a female. You know Monica Nevi?
No. Where'd she
I
play?
think she played for SPU.
Okay, I immediately just got competitive. I'm like, okay, do I need to? No, I'm kidding.
Have I been funnier than her?
No, I will be asking that.
But she's a point guard, different mindset.
Very,
but
okay.
she, I have this thing where I don't know if you had this with your dad, but whenever I was like playing basketball outside, my dad would come out for like a second and he'd be like, pass me the ball. And it's always like the corner three.
Yeah.
And you can't even call it a credit card jumper because the toes aren't coming off the ground. It's just the heels. And
credit card. That's another dad thing
so
to say, though.
I love asking, like, other than the corner three, what in your mind is like a parent shot, like a dad shot, or
my gosh.
like for me, mom shot whenever
Yeah.
we're playing horse, shooting from behind the basket, like over.
But
Classic
Well, my
mom
mom
shot.
always tries. Always. Wow, that's incredible that reigns true. Easy for my dad. Half court on the side, on one of the sides, like as close to you know, that corner of the half court line.
yeah.
And he does a hook shot. He jumps. I'm not kidding.
From
He'll
that
be so
far
happy
away?
This'll be the best day, a highlight of his day, if I tell him that I can, like, I told people on a podcast that he does this shot. Yeah, he'll go like half court and he kind of jumps with it too. You can
Yeah,
definitely slide a credit card
yeah.
because he needs the torque, you know, to get it all the way there. I'm not kidding. It's like, and he got spin on it, and his face, I know exactly what kind of face he makes when he does it, and he always goes bank. He
Oh
tries to
my
get
God! I
bank.
was just about to say. I bet he says bank.
Yes.
Oh, that's so funny. That is so funny.
Bank's open today.
Oh,
how many?
always his shot.
How often does he hit these? Like,
yeah. What's the shooting percentage?
I
there?
honestly, with no defender, which I mean, who's going to defend him out there? If he's not even in any
Who's
situation where he's
defending the
playing.
half-court hook shot? Let him shoot it.
Let him shoot it. Get a hand in his shooting pocket. He's honestly, there's a 50% chance he's going to make it every
that's
time.
incredible.
That is
I'm not
That's better
kidding.
than Shaq shooting free throws.
That's a
It is,
5%
yeah.
chance of me hitting that.
Bananas.
He works on it every time that Jeff, my brother, and I
Yeah.
were shooting in the driveway, he'd come out, you know, kind of cause like a.
You're in bed. I swear that's a basketball I hear outside. That's so
That's
funny.
my time.
That's his shot. We got to get him working with Giannis because
Oh, yeah.
somebody in an interview a couple years ago asked Giannis what his biggest fear was. He said the 3-point line.
Are you kidding me?
This is the cutest answer I've ever heard in my life.
That's like Sam Darnold saying, "I see ghosts." That's bad. Like, we're just gonna give you all day. You're terrified of the 3-point line.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh God.
Gotta work
Well,
on
I'm
that.
never gonna get over that. I'm gonna start having to practice that shot now. See, that's the other thing. I'm a new dad, and so
You're trying to
How-
add to the repertoire.
This is Kendall.
yeah,
Kendall, how old is she?
9 months today, actually.
Congrats. That's a big
Yeah,
deal.
she's cool as hell. She keeps trying to stand up now, though. She just started crawling, and now she's like, "All right, I'm using these bitches." Like, she's trying to get her legs under her.
It's time.
It's crazy.
Wow.
But yeah,
That's
I'm
wild.
trying to figure out. You may have to help coach in the future.
Absolutely.
She's got to
I mean-
play basketball. This
Yeah.
is what I decided. Has to play basketball.
Oh, I
Okay.
thought it was more. I thought it was any sport, but now you're
She has to at least try basketball.
okay. Fair.
I loved that. Was my favorite sport to play. I was only good at it for like 2 years, and then it was kind of like I was just wide. I was basically just Danny Fortson, and I was like, "This isn't gonna
Not
work."
growing
Danny
in the
Forsythe.
direction they need.
He's a great role player.
Yeah. It's like 6'8" power forward. This I don't know about that.
I will say it's the easiest sport to find pickup. Like, there's no other sport where you can just go out and, like, you can't just show up
Right.
on a tennis court and be like, find a reasonable opponent and be like, yeah, let's play, you know?
You
Or
definitely can't do it with baseball.
golf you can do,
anymore,
I guess. But yeah, but baseball you need a whole team. Kickball,
Yeah. Oh God.
classic one. You
Were
go
you
out and
good
try
at
to find
kickball?
people. No, I don't think so. I mean,
Horrible at kickball. Big toe
yeah.
kicker over here.
big toe kicker.
Just getting exposed. It was not good.
Yeah, me asking for slow baby bouncy just to have it go off the inside of my foot incorrectly. Like, what do you-
I have a request.
yeah,
You step
exactly.
up to the
Really,
Are
like
you
I
sure
deserve
you're not
that kind of
left-footed,
respect.
or-
Are you sure you're not left-footed? That's hilarious.
Enough about my ineptitude on the kickball field. Last Tinderella question: favorite ballpark food?
Tinderella, I love that. Oh, popcorn. Popcorn.
Oh, okay.
Times 10.
I feel like popcorn almost we can't count it because that's my
Oh, okay.
answer too. What's yours?
I mean, I'm a hot dog traditionalist. I'm a tubed meat. You know,
Tubed meat.
it's
You know
just
what? When I'm at Safeco, there's an 80% chance you're going to catch me at any point in the game getting a burger in left field because Kid Valley is
That's,
so good.
yeah.
But yeah, I always end up with the fucking pretzel, man. I always end up with the
Pretzels.
pretzel, and they're not good, but I always get them. You know how, remember when there was that whole thing about Subway, and they were like, something about them being made, their bread being made out of yoga mats?
Yes,
or
yeah.
Right,
Plastic
yeah.
and yoga mats.
If anything's made out of yoga mats, it's these pretzels, and I still go for it. I'm like, I got to get the sodium in me somehow. And it's a fun shape.
There's...
oh, go
what?
ahead. I distinctly remember when Mike Trout first came onto the scene. I was like, why doesn't this person have endorsements? He's amazing. And the one thing he had was the frozen super pretzels. I was like, how did they con you into this?
What?
How was this the one?
Frozen super pretzels? Can
Yeah,
you
it was like
explain
a 6-pack of like the ballpark type pretzels, but
Yeah.
not as
Oh
high
my
quality.
God, you just reminded
And
me.
Mike Trout, that was like his one endorsement. So I don't
That's
know.
so weird.
Yeah.
You just reminded me when I first moved out by myself. It was a little too soon for me to be living on my own. If I'm being honest, it was like a month after I graduated from high school, and I was not prepared in terms of cooking to handle this. And so I used to just get those boxes of pretzels and bagel bites, and that was pretty much all I ate.
Bagel bites.
Yeah.
Wow. That
Or
reminds
pizza
me of-
rolls. It was going to be pizza somehow, but
You're 18 years old.
yeah.
The first memory that I thought of was like, wow, I remember coming home from 5th grade and just heating up some bagel bites. 5th grade.
Yeah,
You're 18 years old.
Ah, the good old days.
The good old days. Recently.
Well, that's kind of a decent transition. I think you are the first guest. Actually, you're the guest on here that's known me the longest. Mm-hmm. And so don't feel like you need to hold back. Even better if you don't remember anything at all. But what do you remember about me?
Well, Green Bay Packers fan.
Yeah.
The biggest I've ever seen. And still probably the most avid Green Bay Packers fan I know to this day. Did you
Maybe-
wear a cheesehead to school any days that you can remember?
Once I didn't make it the whole day. I couldn't do it. It was the only time I
Was it
think I've
junior
ever
high
been
or high
embarrassed in junior high. Yeah.
Inglewood, right?
Yeah.
Okay, making sure that because there was like 2 schools that fed into Eastlake. Honestly, that's my most strong memory of you and being hilarious.
Aw.
Like you didn't laugh at your own jokes though. That's where I was like, I need to work on that because you would like make a really funny joke and then you'd hardly laugh at it, and that made it funny. I don't know why.
Oh, well.
And
I
that's
gotta
all.
work on that again.
Yeah.
Back to laughing at my own bits.
You find yourself very funny now. But I don't remember much from high school. I don't remember much from like 21 below.
Right.
And I didn't drink in high school. It's not like I was like, you
Yeah,
know,
neither did I. But I wasn't an athlete. I was just a nerd.
No, just pure memory loss from high school.
Do you have that? I mean, were you?
I have memory of weird. Chris knows my memory to some extent. I'll hold on to some things randomly
It's
forever.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like yesterday is a mystery to me. So yeah, it's touch and go over here. It's like,
Yeah, somehow he can remember like every food preference I have. And
Really?
You'll use it against me too. Like yesterday, I was talking to his significant other about something she didn't like, cheese of some kind, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Of course, cheese is a bad place to start with me because I'm a big fan of the
Big
stuff.
she asked me to defend her, and I was like, well, Chris doesn't like curry.
Shot through the heart. Oh, you're just a killer. And then one time I said I preferred chicken breast to chicken thighs, and
Oh,
either
what?
I said it wrong or he misunderstood it. But years later, he's like, "Oh yeah, well you don't like chicken thighs about something." I was like, "What? What are you talking about? How do you remember that?"
Every once in a while, it comes in handy, though. Like Katie always gets Lay's potato chips out of the deal. You know, there are benefits to
Yeah,
remembering the
see,
things you
that's
like.
good call.
It's not purely weaponizing it. You know, making me out to be the bad guy here.
For having a great memory.
I'm mostly annoyed he can remember everything. I
Yeah,
guess.
I'm a little weirded out by the fact you like chicken breast over chicken thighs
See, this was why I
Oh my
remembered
God.
it so
All right.
much.
Why is it weird?
because it has no flavor or like moisture or.
Okay, well, if you're
Fat.
eating chicken breast that has no moisture, you're eating bad chicken breast.
Okay.
I do.
Cooking it wrong.
Yeah.
I do
Probably.
recall.
Just go back to the bagel bites and call it a day.
Keep it simple.
Part of Chris's logic, I remember at the time, was chicken thighs are way worse for you, and if I'm going to do that, just give me ground beef. And I was like, all right, you know, I kind of appreciate that approach.
Yeah, that's respectable.
Crazy amount of sodium in that stuff. I said, like I clearly care about sodium.
I look like I'm made out of water weight.
82% water weight.
I'm just going to throw this out there, and we're about halfway through, just so for awareness. AI robot fans at Dolphins Chargers. Did either of you see this?
I did.
Wait, did you not tell him?
I
You on your own?
I did get to no. Chris let me know, and I
Okay.
did look
Actually,
into it
let's let her
beforehand.
take it away.
Yeah.
If you don't mind doing a little work here on your off
I
day.
know. I'm like, you guys are doing all the work over here, like asking me the questions. I'm like sweating over here because I'm used to be.
At least
like,
I'm not the only
directing
one
over-
sweating for it.
It's just radiating off of us.
Yeah, no, it's pooling at this point. So Chargers known for not having any fans now that they've moved to LA. I honestly, when they were in San Diego, I don't know how many fans they had.
It had to be more.
A little bit more loyal, at least, for sure.
Right.
But now LA, because they're in SoFi, it's like nobody shows up. There's 1,000,001 other things to do in LA. So this isn't just to fill their stadium, but they're turning it into saying that, oh, we're actually trying to preview a movie and like advertise this movie called Creator, I think. And so to draw attention to it and promote it, they put AI fans that have like these creepy robot ear looking things and real, like not real skin, but like real looking human skin, and they were like put all throughout
One of them
the
was
stadium.
kind of hot, I'm just gonna say it.
Broken clock is right twice a day. This is like a weird uncanny valley thing. They nailed it on one and they got lucky. The ones I saw were weird, man. They were freaking me out.
And they have no expression on their face.
Yeah.
None. Is that
I wonder what the toes look like.
The ears, I
take
swear,
off those shoes for me.
when I saw the ears, I was thinking, like, did they do that because that's just like a hard thing to do? Like an artist who doesn't draw a hand, they're like, the hands are weird. It's just like too much.
Make
Like,
it look real body.
yeah, just put a black hole there of some kind.
I was thinking, you know how
Great point.
annoying it would be to be sitting next to one of those and you're like still fighting for the armrest. Brutal.
The whole time.
Yeah,
they're
brutal.
they're not moving.
Yeah.
You just what a waste of space.
Oh, right.
But go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking I'd be really annoyed if I was a San Diego fan and your team moves and they just start putting robots.
Yeah, they're like, I could have been there. I stayed in San Diego.
And they didn't even make them pay for a ticket.
Right.
Or you're like behind one, like, can I get the better seat?
Right. Yeah.
This
Can I
is a-
move this one? Can you imagine picking it up? Ew. They look so creepy that I don't even want to think about it. But there were some funny reactions to it. Like, you can tell it's not real because it's wearing a Chargers jersey.
Oh, that
that's
is
good.
excellent.
Do they make any noise? Do they?
Oh,
are
that's
they
a good-
just like
they have to, like-
completely silent? Because that's also unsettling if they're they don't-
Something big happened.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
they're-
just like dead-eyed and
For one, they're definitely watching us. So I've got some piracy concerns with this
yeah.
NFL. Shocked they let this happen. Two, you know there had to be some drunk guy wandering up to him like, those kind of weird headphones you got, but let me install number 2.
yeah, there's
No doubt.
given that I'm guessing the Chargers tickets aren't that expensive, if this is what they're doing, then yeah, it's more beer money for sure. That's
Can you imagine one like malfunctioning and making a noise when it wasn't supposed to though? Like what if it actually cheers?
or one of them is like, "Get me out of this! Who ripped me out of the void?" Like, oh God!
That'd be so funny. Wild. And then DeAndre Hopkins. No, not DeAndre Hopkins. Why am I? Deshaun Watson. DeAndre Hopkins is my fantasy wide receiver. Deshaun Watson, and just another Twitter reaction that was hilarious because he's obviously, for those that don't know, again, look it up or don't. Something having to do with
Basically,
massages.
he's not a very good guy.
Not a great guy. Scored a touchdown, pointed up at the heavens, like thanking God, and someone,
Like that's where he's going.
right. Someone did like that Jonah Hill meme, like God's reaction to this. It was like, no,
Yeah,
I don't need any.
At least he
talk to
didn't
me.
point to the team masseuse. That's about the only way that could
oh
work.
yeesh.
Afterward. Yikes. Red flags.
I'm hitting you with this one, Chris. I didn't have a great way to set this up, but choosing to be bald.
Yeah. Last time you saw me, I probably had hair. It wasn't doing me any favors. I was thinking about this lately. Usually, this isn't like a segment, but every once in a while, I just kind of end up ranting about something on here. And do you have any bald people in your life?
It's an interesting way to
Yeah.
phrase it.
Because I'm the
Yeah,
only
I
one
do.
in mine, and there were some things I expected to be different.
Okay.
For starters, when I first shaved my head, I didn't really tell anybody. But then when I saw people again, nobody said anything. So to me, that was kind of like they're saying, "Yeah, it's about time." Yeah, you needed to do this. The other thing, though, it's a hard decision to make, especially as a guy. There's only so many things we get to hold on to in terms of our looks and to feel proud of. Cole's got great fucking lettuce up there. I can't compete with that.
There's,
Wow.
could go any day now.
But mine was bad. I had like horseshoe thing happening. It was great.
Something you can't control.
Right. Thank you.
Yep. Just put it out
Really annoying that my testosterone's like, oh, we're going to make a bunch of body hair, but the top, you're going to lose that.
That's all just migrating south.
Yeah. Everywhere I don't need it. So yeah, it was like not emotional, but it was not an easy decision to decide to shave it. But I don't know why I never thought about this. Once I shaved it, I was like, okay, I'm bald now, but you still have to keep up with it. You still have to take care of it.
To shave it constantly.
Yeah, so now I'm actually taking care of myself more now than ever before. And I'm also like annoyed by it. Like I decided it was like a breakup where you like the relationship wasn't bad. It wasn't good. You were just kind of waiting for the other person to break up with you because you didn't want to be the one to do it. But then you finally like, whatever, we're breaking up, and then they stalk you. That's how this feels. It won't. It won't go away.
They still want to copy your math homework for like 6 months. This is over.
Yeah, where was this gusto when I needed you? Bastard.
This is the problem: is Michael Jordan makes it look so cool, and you don't know the sort of work that goes in. Yeah, Jerry Rice, like that's a person. He's very image conscious. Jerry puts a lot of work into how good he looks every day.
Who else is cool and bald?
How do they keep it so like you've never seen
very smooth? Yeah,
that's
so a good.
Smooth.
You're gonna have to figure that out.
It's got to be a barber. They've got to go. I mean, they've got the money to do a barber. Basically, have them in their house.
Yeah.
Do you have that?
Do I have that?
Can you make that work?
I don't even own my house, so I'm gonna say no. Yeah,
something to train Kendall to do for you. Maybe.
Seriously.
That's definitely the worst part, though, is shaving it, and it's like every day.
I understand why that would be frustrating because you make this big decision and you're like, okay, it's gone, and you have to. It should be gone forever.
Yes,
like that. Your hair follicles should understand that
you guys are off. You're off duty.
You're off
Just
duty
quit.
forever.
The rest of you go south too, somewhere else.
Does there worry with like sunblock and like getting burned?
You know what's weird is it's actually way better now. I went to the Husky game 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, it was brutal. Were you on the bad side?
Pretty much all that happened was I got a sunburn because that was not a competitive game after like the first quarter. But yeah, and you know like how the color black attracts
heat.
Yeah, so does my forehead. It's just
which is not black
right
at all.
for it. No, but it just goes straight for it.
Wow.
I swear I take sun away from other people. It just goes right for my
suck
forehead.
In the heat.
But so I got to put a lot of sunscreen on, and when I had some hair, I mean it was pretty thin up top, but I couldn't just put sunscreen in it because the hair that was there would absorb it.
Right.
But I would still get a sunburn, so I would get this weird burn line where like basically my hairline was burned. And then I was just kind of tan on my forehead. It was really, really annoying. So that was another thing. But yeah, I went to the Husky game, bald, put a bunch of sunscreen on, and got a burn on my forehead, and up here was totally normal. I was like, you guys are killing it up there. You haven't seen the sun ever. Yeah, pretty cool. But
how so when did you do this? Have you had this only in summer months, or have you had it during cold season yet?
Not during, no. That's going to be weird putting on a beanie. That's one thing I've been thinking about. Because I remember when I shaved it and the first time my head hit my pillow, I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. Yeah. Why is there something touching my head like that?
Yeah.
Are you a winter person overall, or are you?
Big time.
Yeah.
I'm sweating now, clearly. I'm going to be wearing these same shorts in December. Yeah, definitely. I'm a polar bear. I think I've been cold like 3 times in my entire life.
Yeah, all at Lambeau Field, probably.
Yeah, all below zero.
Yeah.
How many times have you been to Lambeau?
Probably close to, I'm going to guess 15.
Wow.
I got engaged at Lambeau.
Are you kidding? Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, and thank God, it was a playoff game, and thank God the Packers won, or I'd had to have redone it.
You did it when Aaron was still there, so
yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers?
Honestly, I watched the first episode of the Hard Knocks Jets last night, and I'm like, he's cool again, which everyone thinks because they made him seem like a god in that show.
The magic of reality TV.
Right? Because 3 months ago, we were all making fun of him for his girlfriend and the blue water, the mushrooms, and like the underground chambers. I mean, he was a weird dude. And now he's like funny. He's like making jokes.
Dude,
he is. You're right.
I think he's just masterful in time. I'm not going to make you say anything about this either, but a lot of people have opinions about Russell Wilson being extremely fake, what he puts out there in terms of who he actually is. I think Aaron Rodgers is also a master at that. I think he's weird. I think he's a dick.
Yeah.
And I think he knows how to look cool.
That's a great point. And his PR team is better than Russell's because they've made him way cooler than Russell has not gotten. I don't know who Russell is inside of his core.
What if we have him do drugs this time?
That would be quite the turnaround. No, just see if he can go the weird crystal route that Aaron went, and then stop doing that and see if it's like, like when Coke had New Coke, and everyone's like, this is bullshit. And then they went back to having Coke, and everyone's like, this is great. It was the same product they had. They just introduced poison.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, basically. Same thing. Russell's got a new Coke it up. That's the
and go back to normal. He has to find his self again, like his new normal self.
Yeah.
So
set a
he
new
needs some
low.
psychedelic therapy.
Set a new low, then exceed it next year.
I think the best personality we've ever seen in sports. I just saw he's in a movie now. Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, phenomenal.
Oh my God.
He is must-watch TV. If he's on the TV, if I see his face on there, I'm turning it up, and I'm probably going to record it and try to put it on
Absolutely. I'm the same way. And there was
So
a point where I was just really annoyed because in 2010, Ryan Grant tore his ACL. The Packers desperately needed a running back, and the Bills were trying to give Marshawn away. And I'm like, the Cal connection, him and Rodgers played to go, like, just a second-round pick, just do it.
Make it happen.
And, the Packers never trade their picks, ever. And so it didn't happen. He wound up here. But I got one of my favorite moments ever out of it. I was at the Beast Mode game. And there's a few things I've ever seen, let alone been at, that gave me chills like that. That was crazy. And I literally fell over. And people say that place was shaking.
Yeah.
I didn't have an ounce of anything to drink. And I wound up on the ground at the end of that play. It was
because you were
nutty.
It was actually shaking.
It felt like an earthquake. Yeah, it was crazy.
And I'm sure everyone around you was, like jumping around. It was like instability from more.
Mosh pit
exactly.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I love knowing that because
it was really cool.
I don't think I've talked to a person who's been inside that wasn't a reporter.
Really?
Who you have no soul, so you don't make any.
You don't get to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, they were 7-9 that year, right? So the expectations, and you're going up against the defending champion.
How could you be quiet
Saints.
in the press box as he's jumping into the end zone, grabbing his nuts? Are you kidding me? Like, that had to at least get some laughs.
I would have absolutely lost it on the one before that. The stiff arm that sent. Oh gosh, I can't remember what corner it was. Oh,
Saints.
Yeah, it was.
Corner.
Yeah, and it's just escaping me now. It doesn't matter. But the one person that got stiff-armed like a good 5 yards upfield because more because of the momentum of the play. Even Marshawn was like, that looked way better on camera. He was off balance, but at that point, I would have absolutely snapped.
Just silly.
Lost my job.
There is laughter in the press box. We do laugh.
I was going to say, you just have to quietly walk out and scream when the door closes.
If something crazy happens. I mean, yesterday, well, I don't know when this is airing, but on Sunday when the Seahawks lost to the Rams, DK lost it. I mean, I'm 99% sure. I don't want to start rumors, but he flipped off this Rams sideline and then waved at him and then flipped him off again. After he got away with a late hit.
Right. I saw the late hit. I didn't see that part, though.
Yeah. It's the camera went away from it, and I was like watching him. I saw a glove, and I couldn't decipher, but when your hand is like this, and then it goes like this, you can tell the difference. And I'm thinking, what else is he going to do?
Right.
See the
Suck
pattern?
it to him.
Nike, baby. Yeah, I love DK because he's, well, look at him, for starters. You know how much sunscreen I'd rub on that guy? Secondly, he is incredible. He's just a monster. Like, he's crazy to watch. I think Megatron, Calvin Johnson's the only other guy that I've been like, this person's a robot. This is crazy. But
I felt that way about Julio Jones.
He's kind of,
Oh, yeah.
He was,
where is he?
is he out of the league?
He's out of the league.
Titans?
Oh, is he still maybe
That's the last
doing
place I
that?
remember.
That's exactly.
Sucks for him.
It's crazy how fast that ended. I mean, I know injuries, but it seems like he went from being the best player in the league to gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, recently.
But DK's kind of a bonehead. I'm really glad he's not on my team. Like, I love him.
Yeah.
I love having him on my fantasy team even. But every once in a while he does something where you're like, dude, what are you doing? That's easy for me to say. I've had more meatball sandwiches than cups of water today. So 3-2. 3-2. Yeah. But that has to be frustrating as a Seahawks fan. It's got to be weird to cover too. Like when something like that happens, I always think of like when Deshaun Jackson on Monday Night Football running into the end zone and on the 1 yard line throwing the ball behind him, celebrating, but it was a fumble because he wasn't in the end zone yet. When stuff like that happens, like
it's like how could you ever think that that's an okay idea?
Right. Wait 2 yards. Wait 6 more feet and you're golden.
There's something emotionally that he's kind of working through. It's weird hearing Pete Carroll talk about it because he always says like, I've been working on this with DK for a while now. Like we're working on it together. I'm like, so, but you don't have an emotional problem. You control yourself on the sideline. It took DK like 4 minutes to calm down yesterday. So I think
that guy needs to eat less candy because doesn't he eat like crazy amounts of
terrifying.
Candy? It's a sugar rush.
Okay, my sister met his quote unquote nutritionist, which I don't know how many people claim to be, somebody's nutritionist or like personal trainer.
It's Colonel Sanders.
It's Colonel Sanders. That's it. But yeah, that came out last year on what KG's podcast, wasn't it Kevin Garnett's podcast? That he was saying he ate all this candy. And then this year, my sister apparently met somebody at a wedding that is now his nutritionist. I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. And yeah, it's like 3 bags of candy, a coffee. He starts with a coffee. He doesn't even eat anything in the morning. Then he has a coffee. I'm like, that's instant rage.
Yeah, that's There's no food to soak up all that stimulant in your body. Like
you're already shaking. Come on. So
that's why I dropped some of those passes.
But he juked somebody yesterday on that touchdown. Good Lord, into a different dimension. So it's like the pros and cons, and sometimes the anger or the passion makes you what you are. Right. It makes you as good as you possibly, like I don't ever get that passionate about something. So maybe I'm not going to be destined for greatness.
Don't think you have to push the other guy after but yeah.
That's true. That's just mean.
Yeah, that's not
That'll hurt his feelings. Yeah. That's too far.
So one thing we do on this show regularly, Alyssa, is we do a little This Week in History. September 4th, 1994, Jerry Rice sets the all-time NFL record for touchdowns, passing Jim Brown. Jim Brown had it for a long time.
Yeah.
Is Jerry the greatest of all time at any position? Is he just the greatest football player ever?
Oof. Well, his numbers are like Gretzky-esque in terms of like how far away from everybody else he is. But also with like, we're going to keep adding games and we're going to keep shifting into passing every single play, somebody might have a chance. But
eventually doing it, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he's got to be.
Yeah. Who else could you choose kind of thing? Tom Brady, maybe?
Yeah. I bet he'd be the second. But
Tom Brady would be a good answer.
And he wouldn't be far behind because he played for so long. And I know Jerry had a long career too, but Jerry, to do what he did in that time when it wasn't super pass heavy and you didn't have these quarterbacks with crazy, respect to Joe Montana and all the people, but the arm slots and the scrambling and extending plays to get things to wide receivers and the corners. I mean, you look at the top corners in the league, they're absolute freaks.
Yeah, he had to play against Deion Sanders.
Wow.
It's true.
So, I mean, there's that too.
True.
I've made this very annoying. This is a homer argument, but Don Hudson, playing in the 20s, still held the touchdown record until Largent broke it in 1990, 99 touchdowns for receiver. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's like Babe Ruth hitting 60 home runs when everyone else is hitting.
Right.
15.
So, I know I can't come out and say Don Hudson's the best receiver of all time. But anytime this argument comes up, I have to mention it.
Okay, what about Norm Brocklin then? The passing record.
See?
1951 still has not been in one game. 550 yards. 554 yards?
That's insane.
How has that not been broken yet? That's kind of surprising it hasn't been broken
yet.
That's
got to go.
Justin Herbert or 1951. That's
especially if it's one of those Herbert versus Mahomes games where they get back
they both
and forth.
break it in the same game.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the All right, September 6, 1995, Ripken sets the consecutive games record. Is any record less likely to be broken? There are some really interesting records, like 2 straight no-hitters. So I don't know if all things are created equally.
The complete game record, anything around complete games, basically, or the wins record. I think wins in a season is 56 wins or something crazy.
I guess I should maybe say, let me rephrase it. Is there any modern record, like something set in the last color television, let's say?
I I feel like at some point that's got to fall. But now anybody gets remotely hurt, it seems like they get the hook, right? They're like, we're just going to be safe and put you on the IL. Because now there's like the 7-day IL now, right? Like it's not, you're not counting a guy out for 2 weeks anymore. You can give him just a rest.
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, that's going to be tough. I mean, who was the last person that even got close? I remember Prince Fielder had a stretch of like 3 or 4 seasons in a row. He didn't miss a game, but that's still not close.
No.
And I don't think there's a motivation to break that. I mean, people don't want to, like, even J.P. Crawford for a long time didn't miss a start this season. Gino Suarez, I don't even know if he has yet. But, like, you acquire new players now so that you can give a Gino Suarez a day off.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you have those players so I think it is the least likely record to fall because no one has that, like, motivation to that's like one of the most records, the one record that I think I still have at Idaho is most games consecutive.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Here's me just trying to get my glory days back in. Like,
Iron Woman streak.
let's talk about me. Remember when I played basketball? But it's something that you're proud of. But at the end of it, I was like, oh God, I had no idea I had that record.
Right.
But, like, I didn't want it. I didn't like go out and seek it. So
It wasn't a conscious thing to pursue. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's a good one.
Okay, I think we'll end on this one. This is a good one. September 7th, 1998, McGuire breaks the single-season home run record, the chase for which, quote-unquote, saved baseball. Do you look back at this era fondly, as a dark time, or both? And you can start
Oh, good.
putting you on the spot.
Well, I was all but 6 or 7 years old, so it's hard
Fair.
for me to say with these, like, late 90s, like we were talking about with the Sonics, too, like certain players that you didn't get to see when you were fully conscious of it. Again, like,
Right.
I feel like it's all blacked out from like 21 and younger.
Right.
But I think watching the documentary of Sosa and McGuire chasing it, was it Boys of Summer? I can't remember.
Yep. That was very good.
That was such a Boys of Fall, maybe.
No, I think it was Boys of Summer. I think the 30 for 30, I think it was like a 2-parter that they did. Yeah.
Yep. I think again it's probably drug enhanced greatness, but
That's why it was so cool.
that's why it's so cool. It's like superheroes,
Yeah.
like off of the cartoon pages into baseball games.
That was sweet. Also, I despise both of those teams. I'm a Brewers fan,
Yeah.
so it's just like we're always losing to one of these teams.
That's tough.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
It was like the best thing because that was right after the strike, right? Wasn't it the
90
season after
yeah.
the
Yes.
strike?
Yeah, or no,
No,
it wasn't. It was a couple
94
years
was the strike,
later.
wasn't it?
Right. You're right about that.
But they
it was
lost
like,
a huge chunk of the fan base because of that.
Yeah.
And I think it was a great way to keep people and gain a lot. Like, there's a lot of people who I know don't like sports, but know that I like sports, and that's one of the things they'll bring up just to, like, have a way to talk to me.
The girl that, like, is just like, oh God, he asked me a Kobe.
I don't know about
question.
Kobe, but Mark McGuire, huh?
What about that Mark McGuire?
Pretty cool facial hair. Sammy Sosa was so cool.
Yes.
Sosa was so cool.
You're right.
And yeah, just the way he hopped after he, like, everything about
And
him. I
this.
love Sammy. Yeah.
Now that you say that, that's all I mean, yeah, that was the coolest era.
Yeah.
I mean, I did that, and I didn't even really know at the time.
I did too. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and you got some huge shots too, where it's like that's a 560-foot home run.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Is that actually documented?
Yeah, McGuire hit one. He hit like 7 or 8 over 500 that year. But yeah, he hit one.
Well, he hit
that was
one
like,
out of Safeco during the home run derby.
That's right.
You don't even have the benefit of it coming in at 90. Like, you're getting
That's true.
it's lobbed into you, and you're
Yeah, the harder
crazy.
it's coming in, the harder you can hit it. And I will say quickly at the end of this, like, clearly baseball saw how special that time was because they're trying to bring offense back. Like, they've slowly changed baseballs and changed, certain things to make the offense more exciting because they know that draws more fans. So clearly that's a strategy that they picked up at that point. Like, when offense is flying, everybody comes back to baseball.
Just crazy because I don't know if baseball's ever had.
more great pitching.
Yeah, the amount of
Right.
great pitchers is crazy right now, and I'm
It's
hating
insane.
seeing what's happening to Max Scherzer with the Rangers. I know Mariners fans are loving that it's happening to the Rangers, but not
sucks.
Mad Max. I love that guy.
Yeah, to have him do great things for another team though. That's
Right, in another division.
Go back to the National League. All right. Well, this was a really fun episode. Alyssa, thank you for joining us.
thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back maybe sometime if you can
Love
tolerate
that.
us for another hour. Yeah, I don't really think we have anything to buy our koozies, which we don't even have with us today. Trying to
we
pitch
went-
something we don't even have.
no, we went drink free today.
Do you normally have drinks?
We usually have beers, yeah, but
Chris is being responsible and I'm being supportive.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
It was a very thirsty summer, and so I'm
Trying to chill.
just trying to. Yeah, I figure if I can do it through the first month of the Jordan Love era, then I can.
Oh, fair point.
I can do
Congrats
anything.
on your win.
Yeah. God. Well, thank
that
you.
O-line
Thank
helped
you.
out.
I felt so good yesterday. I mean, tequila helped, but just I've never wanted success so bad for somebody.
Right.
Like
You
for him.
deserve
Well,
it.
Giannis.
Well,
But
yeah.
But yeah, I wanted him to succeed
And
so
Kendall.
bad, and to see
And
it.
Ken-
And Kendall, yeah.
Is Kendall second
Giannis,
to Giannis?
my daughter, me somewhere after that. But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate it. We still have Belgium with us, China.
yeah.
I don't know what they're getting from this, but we appreciate you guys listening and love you. Bye.
Thanks.